All right, y'all. So I want to review this really short video from the Biomimicry Institute just to give a little bit of commentary on what we're using in our design, okay? One of the issues that I had with an organization that I did a goal-free evaluation for was the lack of diverse materials. So they cited everything. So this was a 1-month program. They cited everything they used. Cite, like you reference. They referenced everything they used in the slides and handouts, all that. I found one reference. One that was not a man or white. Okay, one reference. And that one reference was from a former crackhead. Okay, now let's listen to this.
The Biomimicry Institute is looking at this from a very different perspective of like, what are we leaving on the table? Well, we're leaving decomposition on the table. I think nobody has been talking about the one thing that's been working for the rest of the planet.
So the biomimicry, now I've talked about biomimicry before. I love biomimicry, okay? I've read countless books about biomimicry, and it's very simply going to nature to help us solve problems, okay? Problems anywhere, problems in your home, in your business, in whatever, okay? I used a biomimetic process to help me design a new evaluation framework, okay? And I talk about that in one of my videos. Now, that's what this video is about, is that they've just discovered that what we can do is what nature does, okay, in our design. Now, listen.
We look beyond the delusion of marketing, trendy language, glossy photos, Instagram influencers. We see that the commodities of fashion are still based on exploitation.
We want to really redefine or add to circularity, right? I think today decomposition is missing from this narrative. The system is broken and we need to find a way to redefine value so that it can be fixed.
I agree 1,000% with everything they're saying. Okay, I totally 100% agree.
And decomposition allows for that.
This is why this initiative is so important, because we are really using physical pilots as a way to demonstrate decomposition technologies, but also look at the surrounding context for each of these technologies. It's really not only about the technology in isolation, but also in what sort of system is it fitting within. And
Okay. Now, this is primarily for the fashion industry, right? Designing things that decompose in nature. Okay, so you're designed for decomposition. It's recycling, basically, right? But the whole, so look at the people who are saying this. Just look, okay, at the people who are saying this, all right? And then I will come back and let you know what I did.
Enabling conditions to not only operating that technology, but also scaling it as well.
Because if it can work there, it can work anywhere. 15 million garments coming in every week is no joke. And if we're able to actually show that decomposition is a valuable exercise, that the people there can gain value from it, while they are engaging with these technologies, embracing entrepreneurship, for instance, in this distributed, decentralized model to actually own and operate these technologies, and really take ownership of that supply chain.
One of the things that we learn through the existing decentralized informal economy is the idea of cooperation. Not everyone can do everything.
What's the economic argument?
So what he's talking about is called Ubuntu, okay? It's an ancient concept, okay, from Africa. And I know Africa is not the only place that this thing is. Ubuntu, all right? And it's basically saying if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, then we all got to go together. Okay. It's all about cooperation, community, and doing things together. Okay. When I did my evaluation framework, where I had to go, I didn't just go to nature. Okay. I went in indigenous American populations. Okay. A lot of the tribes that were here before, they were killed, all right, by these new people who came over. These people already, all this biomimicry stuff, they're acting like this is new. Okay. There was a Biomimicry Institute, when Columbus first got over here. It just wasn't called Biomimicry Institute. You know what I mean? These things are being rediscovered, but it's sounding like nobody ever knew about this ever. Okay. And it's so disingenuous. Now listen, I love everything the Biomimicry Institute is doing, but what I'm gonna need them to do is to give credit where credit is due. Okay. Y'all didn't just come up with this stuff. Somebody woke up one day, and said, oh, let's go back to nature to solve our problem. No, that's been going on. Okay. Been going on. And this is something that I found when I did my research on, did I do it on this? I think, yeah, it is on this channel. When I was talking about how I had to go and find, I had to turn cartwheels, do calisthenics, stand on my head. I had to do all kind of things, okay, to find frameworks of training, development, HR, and things like that from pre-colonization times, okay? It was a lot of work because of stuff like this, okay?
Argument for decomposition. Well, what's the economic argument for what we're doing right now?
How are we valuing this waste? What is value? How are we going to, how do we define it even? And I think it actually goes beyond economic value. We really have to, the need is so urgent that we have to think beyond economic value. We have to think about the value for the biosphere, the value for the environment.
But I really believe that nature holds the answers, and we just haven't learned how to look.
Girl, she said nature holds the value and we just haven't learned how to look. No, you haven't learned how to look, okay? There's a thing, I forget what it's called, but that Native Americans have, and that researchers who go into these populations have realized, all right? You're going into these populations, doing research, collecting data, and these people are getting nothing, absolutely nothing, okay? There's actually a letter that they write, I'm gonna have to find it, that's acknowledging what's already there and asking for permission, which is something that we did not do in the beginning, okay? To share in what they have, all right? Instead of just going in there and taking some shit and just not caring, about the people who are already there. Biomimicry Institute, I love y'all to death. I do. I love everything you're doing, okay? But I'm going to need you to give some credit where credit is due, all right? And stop acting like, we just came up with this ourselves, because we are the kind of people who come up with these kinds of things ourselves, okay? Y'all don't want to finish listening to this, but that's it. Okay, I'll be back with some other stuff later.